Hello everyone and welcome to my CS24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The Curse of Oak Island. Marty Lagina declares we could be inches away from a massive discovery. The Curse of Oak Island Season 10 is approaching the end, and the team seems tantalizingly close. Marty Lagina declared they could be inches away from a major discovery at the bottom of the garden shaft in the Money Pit area. The main focus of this season has been the rehabilitation of the old garden shaft. This shaft was previously thought to be 19th century construction, but after carbon-14 dating the wood and finding traces of precious metals buried underneath, the guys began to suspect it was much older and could actually be the location of the treasure. With this in mind, the guys got in mining outfit Dumas Ltd. to reconstruct the 80-foot deep shaft to see what was going down there. After numerous hiccups, the miners have finally gotten to the bottom and have started exploratory probing for offset hidden chambers. Rick Lagina admitted on last night's episode that they had all been struggling with the disappointment that, so far, the shaft had not revealed any hidden treasures. This was despite the wooden walls of the shaft testing positive for high amounts of precious metals. However, last night, there were beaming smiles and high fives all around when the Dumas guys announced that they thought they'd hit a tunnel at 91 feet. The Fellowship had previously hit a tunnel at 95 feet while borehole digging in the baby blob, and they suspected that tunnel was heading towards the garden shaft. The guys now hope that this is the same tunnel, meaning they can follow to the treasure in the baby blob. The Oak Island team thinks they are close to a breakthrough at the garden shaft. At this time of the season, it's always a race against time and the weather to get things done before the guys have to stop all work as the Nova Scotian winter hits. But here was some hope they might make a breakthrough with only one episode left. First, the team had to confirm it was a tunnel, so they popped some tubing into the drill hole and dropped a camera down. They couldn't see much apart from clay, but there was a piece of wood. Wood often equals a tunnel, so Marty ordered Dumas to keep drilling. There is also the possibility that they may have found not a tunnel but a vault. This scenario would definitely be preferable. Of course, this is Oak Island, so nothing's easy. The 4-inch drill was hitting up against something hard and wasn't making any progress. About 2 inches deep was as far as it would budge. However, on the top of the drill head, there was more wood, enough for C14 dating. The tension was palpable as the guys stood waiting for the drill to get through to something important, but agonizingly it just wasn't penetrating. The Curse of Oak Island Season 10 episode 24 saw high levels of tension. Why do we get this close? And we don't have any time left, lamented Marty. Meanwhile, the rest of the guys, Rick, Charles Barkhouse, Billy Gerhardt, Alex Lagina, and Peter Fornetti, who had gathered in the tent, all looked super tense. The guys started debating if they should dig a new hole, but project manager Scott Barlow argued they just didn't have the time. Marty agreed. So instead, they decided to replace the 4-inch drill bit with a 6-inch and keep their fingers crossed that it could penetrate the wood. And viewers will learn next week if that was successful. This was an episode where not a lot actually happened, but it sure was incredibly tense. Next week is expected to be the season finale, so let's hope they can end Season 10 with a bang. The morning sun rose over Mahone Bay, spilling a golden glow across the waters that lapped gently against Oak Island's shoreline. The island was quiet in its own eerie way, the calm before another day of relentless searching. Marty Lagina stood at the edge of the Money Pit site, his boots covered in dirt and his hard hat tipped back slightly as he squinted into the morning light. His brother Rick stood nearby, his usual thoughtful expression carved into his features, while members of the Fellowship bustled with equipment checks, drilling prep, and safety measures. Marty's voice cut through the hum of machines. Gentlemen, I'll tell you this right now. We could be inches away from something massive. Those words hung in the air like an electric charge. Everyone paused. Scott Barlow looked up from a set of drill maps. Gary Drayton pulled off his gloves mid-adjustment and Charles Barkhouse raised his brow in that cryptic way he often did when history seemed ready to breathe through the ground beneath them. The drilling had already gone deeper than most attempts in years past. This wasn't just another borehole. They had narrowed down the location to a promising anomaly, one that showed voids and unusual metal signatures. If the data held true, they weren't chasing shadows this time. They were pressing against the edge of history. Rick's steady hand, Rick Lagina, as always, didn't let hope soar unchecked. He gave his younger brother a measured glance. Inches away can feel like miles on this island, Marty. Let's temper expectations until we see it. But even Rick's voice carried a tremor of excitement. He had walked this journey for decades, sacrificing time, money, and parts of himself to Oak Island's mysteries. To hear his pragmatic brother speak so boldly, it meant something. Marty grinned, a rare flash of unguarded enthusiasm. Rick, the scanners don't lie. We've got a void down there, and the metal signature isn't just scrap iron. We could be brushing against the treasure chamber itself. The Fellowship reacts. Gary Drayton, the metal-detecting legend, slapped his gloved hands together, his grin as wide as ever. Massive, mate? That's what I like to hear. I've got me good luck hammer ready for when we haul it up. Could be coins, could be artifacts, could be, dare I say it, the mother lode. Craig Tester, the engineer and voice of scientific reason, studied the data sheets clipped to his tablet. The resistivity readings are consistent. I won't say it's treasure yet, but it is unusual. The void's dimensions line up with something deliberately constructed. Maybe a tunnel, maybe a chamber. Charles Barkhouse adjusted his glasses, his eyes narrowing as though he were reading a page of 17th century script. If this is what I think it could be, gentlemen, we might be looking at the original depositor's hiding place. This could be what the legends were built on. Even Scott, cautious by nature, gave a nod. The ground crew's ready. We'll keep the drill steady and see what comes up. Inches away, the roar of the drill echoed across the island as the team gathered near the borehole. Dust rose in plumes, mixing with the salty air. Everyone's gaze was fixed on the core barrel as it was lifted, the metal cylinder gleaming with promise. When the first section of core was pulled and split open, anticipation surged through the group. Dirt, clay, and fragmented rock. Ordinary layers that had deceived them countless times before. But then came the second barrel, and gasps rippled through the Fellowship. The split core revealed fragments of worked timber, aged and dark, buried at depths where no natural wood should be. Boom, baby! Gary shouted, clapping Marty on the back. That's man-made. No doubt about it.